Welcome everyone to the Goddess Temple. My name is Chris, and for today's video, what I have coming through is truly this excitement for who you've become, who you're here to be. And why is this something that I want to talk about today? Well, it's it's so important that you express your natural way of being. Now, the importance of it is because it's vital to your existence. It's vital to your health. It's vital to your well being, your mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. It even impacts yourself. It even impacts you physically. It actually can show up as stress, as tension in your body, right? As that incessant pain, or you can't even consume any type of food that you like. Nothing really helps unless you actually acknowledge that you're here to be you, that you're here to create the way that you do, that you're here to express yourself in the way that you do, that you're here to truly allow yourself to excel and be good, be healthy, be to improve on the skills that you already have, and to eventually build the space and the environment so you can improve on the places that you really suck at. It's having this place within you, this um, ability to create a space, an environment, a community that can grow with you, that grows with you. And when it's time for that next step or that next phase, another group of people, another group of community comes in. And it doesn't mean that you completely let go of your old people, right? Your family in a way. You still get to come back to them to have that conversation. You still get to do that with them. That never goes away. Of course, you want to share your success with them. Yes, maybe they may not understand it too well, and they may not um, think and move in the way that you do. Their needs are different than yours. But you come together so you can share your story, so you can share your success and your triumphs and your I did this, like I created this, like actually celebrate with your people, celebrate with your community, build a life that's just so out there and alive because you're alive, because you matter, because your emotions need a space to be held. Now, these places that aren't getting met, right? These needs that are not getting met, the way to feed them, right? The way to support these places, it's not something, it may actually look different than what you think it is. And half the time, it's just so basic. It's the basic needs that you have. Are you fed well? Do you have a place to rest? Do you have a place to just emotionally, mentally, physically rest? Right? Do you have a place where you can be in communion, be in conversation, and create and actually move through the aha moments that you're having, the um my words are not coming, they're just not happening very well, so I apologize, but I hope that it makes sense in some way for you. But you have a place where you get to talk, where you get to just ramble, where you get to create, because it's from that you get to transform. Creation means transformation. And so for a place that you get to ramble, you get to find a solution. Not everyone is available for that, right? So there's so many ways that you can do that. And sometimes it's excessive shaking, like just physically jumping up and down, shaking your body, convulsing, sorry. But convulsing, that itself helps. Dancing helps. Doing, going to the gym, being like pushing yourself past a threshold It teaches you how to create a different neurological system, you know? It teaches your body to create, to move, to operate differently, right? You get rewired. And it's not just mentally, but it's also emotionally, it's also um, physically. And yeah, I just got an email and it just kind of freaked me out, made my heart stop. Um, but yes, so what is it that you're here to create? What are you trying to solve for? Because it could be that whatever you're trying to solve, it's that there is this one thing that's holding you back, that you feel like someone is not looking at, that someone may judge because you did it this way. And guess what? You actually have to deal with that and move through it. And the only way that you can do that is actually being around either someone that you can have a conversation with. Sometimes that's a therapist. You might have to actually seek professional help. You know, it's not only enough to have your friends and family or someone to work through with it. It's also important to lean into professionals that have studied it, that have studied and understood the ins and outs, and they're not only giving you advice based off of lived experience, but it's also through observation, through study of how to do better, how to improve, how to show up differently, right? Sometimes it's important to go to these experts. It just, there's a little refinement, right? And every expert has their own little thing that they're into and that they've studied and dove into. So don't be afraid to go to these places. Don't be afraid to seek out the help that you may need. And sometimes it's just a little bit easier when you let someone else take care of it for you, when you let someone else figure that hard thing out. Now, whenever you're ready to dive in and explore it, then you do, right? And you learn how to apply it to you. But there's also things that you excel at, you know, that is, it comes effortless for you, and that people would be saying that, you know, oh, I didn't even think of that, you know, wow, how is that so easy and simple for you? You get to dive into these places, and you get to truly build a trusting relationship with yourself, a sense of confidence. And this confidence doesn't come from anything external. External stuff does help, of course, you know, wearing clothes and you know, having that haircut, having that self-care thing, whether it's a massage, a facial, makeup, whatever it is, right? There's things that do help. But that's the thing. It is a supporting, it's a supporting hand that you lean into, and you let yourself move through it. You begin to move through it in a way that makes the most sense for you. And you let yourself build, you let yourself grow, that you let yourself expand. I hope that I am moving in the direction that makes sense and you're able to follow my thought process. I don't even know if I'm thinking at this point, it's just coming through, so let's just keep going with it. But yes, you're letting yourself meet who you are, you're letting yourself tell your own story. You're letting yourself um you're letting people actually meet you in your most vulnerable place, because there's things that you do that you that you do, that you think about, that people don't even consider. So if there's these things that exist, right, there's a part of you that exists that you don't even see, and it could be something that's good, it's not something bad or that needs work, but it's just purely something that is good. And there's, yeah, people that are very much so observant of you, observant of what you're putting out, how you're showing up, and you're okay with it. To be okay to see it, to not freak out that you're actually looking at your own reflection, that you're looking at a part of you that you didn't know existed. And that's frightening. It's frightening to bring to the front a a version of you that you didn't see, that was in the shadows, and you're like, this person does not exist. This person is evil. It's not, you dismiss it. Now, for whatever reason, you dismiss it, whether it's a childhood trauma or a patterning, a wounding. There's karmic woundings that just come through. There's also even lineage woundings patterns. So, for whatever reason that this is here, the more you keep practicing how to be you and to be okay with what's showing up, to be okay with your thoughts, to practice to build rituals, to practice to go to a place where it pushes your boundaries a little bit, where it could be the best thing ever, it could be the most positive thing ever, but it actually pushes your boundaries and it makes you hella nervous. You're okay with it. You come back, you come back, and you're like, oh, I'm still alive. I didn't like that, but I'm still alive. Or I liked it, but why the heck do I feel so nervous and anxious? And what that's called, um, it's called, well, it's actually the word, the understanding of what transformation is. It's the understanding of what ceremony is, of what temple is, of what it means for you to be reborn, for you to be born from the fire, from the ashes, for you to be a phoenix. This is that point. This is why it's important as you keep going in your career, as you keep moving in your life, that you do things that you may have not done so before, that it does pushes a little bit of your boundary, that's a different experience, that you are going to always have to take care of yourself. You're never going to stop eating food because, well, you need to still replenish your physical body or else you're not alive. And the same applies for your mental and emotional health as well. It's important for you to feed yourself, for you to push the boundaries, to also do the same mentally too, right? To push those boundaries because it tells you a little bit more about who you are. It tells you about the things that just became a habitual practice. And it could be something that started off as positive, but then eventually you realize that it's not positive anymore, that it's actually making you stuck and making you limited. And so you move through that again. And it's building this practice, building a practice that makes the most sense for you, that allows you to still create, to still be who you are here to be, for you to be the most fullest and expansive self that you possibly could. To know that you can be all that you are and then some more, you know? And playing with these ideas, playing with these limitations, playing with these boundaries, these borders, these edges, you begin to learn who you are. And that's the most frightening thing ever, is when you see yourself vulnerable. It's sometimes easier for someone else to accept you and, adapt themselves to you. But then it gets a little bit uncomfortable when you begin to do that to yourself, to do that with yourself. And you don't need to always do it, but once in a while, it can actually replenish you. It teaches you how to live in your physical body, how to acknowledge your soul, how to acknowledge the fact that you're human and that it's okay that you're different, because you are. Because there's so many factors, there's so many little bits and pieces of history of life that influenced you and shaped you into this person, this expression, this body of yours. There's so much. So I highly encourage you to keep going, to keep moving through, because you are here to meet you. You are here to live your own authentic truth, your own authentic being and expression. And it's just this aliveness, that you come into a place that you get to be so alive, so awake, so moved by life, and yet you are still. You are still and unwavering in everything and anything. The depiction that comes to me, and I know this depiction, it's shown in various different cultures, various different deities and storylines, but it's this vision of a snake, so a person sitting in meditation, whether they're lounging, fully resting, eyes closed, or sitting in a meditation. And behind them comes up this five-headed snake serpent, and it's typically a cobra. But that five-headed cobra comes through, and it's just hovering as a it's like an umbrella, and it's there. The thing is, that's what it is. The serpent symbolizing life movement, energy, flow, the feminine. And then the being, the person sitting down or laying down, it's the person understanding that they are still, that they have the capacity to witness themselves, to be grounded, to be observant, to acknowledge the inner world as much as they are aware of the external world, and that they are protected as much as they are in danger. And they become this life force of an embodiment of duality, and a body that knows not only how to move through duality, the masculine and the feminine, the the yin, the yang, the good and the bad, um, right? Angels, demons, like they know how to move through these dualities. As much as they know how to do that, they know how to go off into the mindscape, into other realms, mentally, emotionally, spiritual realms, and then also be able to come back into the physical body and acknowledge that they are human and live a human life, teach what they have observed and learned, create experiences, be able to create, right? And it's this understanding that you have the capacity to reflect as much as you have the capacity to create. And there is this understanding that you can do it with not force, but it's like you have the capacity to do it. And there is something that moves you. And then there's a passive way of life moving you, and there is an active way of life moving you, and you begin to understand even that duality. And I feel like that depiction really is what's being asked to be spoken about right now. And it's understanding that there is no right and wrong way of living and approaching life, of healing yourself, of acquiring wealth, abundance, a home, food, of what you eat, of the way that you're living. Yes, there's ways that you can improve yourself. At the same time, there is a part of you that needs to be compassionate and be okay with the fact that, not okay with it, but it's like acknowledge what's happened and how you've gotten there. To just acknowledge that you're even where you are is something that's important. So I really hope that this has given you some insight. It's shown you a little bit more about who you are and how to move through you, how to let life be moved within and through you. So I wish you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon.